Have you ever heard about suicide cases that happen every year in Malaysia? Well, if you have, you know how bad this has affected to the society. How about racism? Do you know that Malaysia enforces discriminatory laws limiting access to university education for Chinese students who are citizens by birth of Malaysia? Considering major issues in the world today, probably racism tops the list. There are many imagination and speculation arrive once the word racism is heard. It is also a worldwide issue that exists in all continents and countries in different forms. My name is Vijay, and today we are going to talk about racism and suicide.
Hi, my name is Henrico, and I'll be talking about why suicide happens. When the clock struck 3:30 AM, I was forcefully awakened by the beeping sound of my phone. Feeling frustrated, I fished out my phone out of the drawer of my working table. Please help me. Just these three words made the adrenaline running through my veins. The person on the other side of my phone is my best friend, standing 20 stories above his home terrace. Police cars, ambulance, firefighters, and a crowd of people stood nearby. Does somebody save him? Is he willing to jump? Life is precious, but why suicide is still a trending issue in Malaysia? Undeniably, severe depression is a common issue for suicide. Emotional pain is a silent killer that will take people's life away without people around realizing about it. Besides emotional pain, a person with schizophrenia might hear voices to kill herself. For bipolar disorder people, they have alternating of high and low moods. Moreover, person with traumatic experience including rape, physical abuse, or war trauma possess a greater risk for suicide. Having the diagnosis of post-traumatic fear of losing something precious in your life, imagine ending a romantic relationship or close friendship, facing financial problems, losing a job, being unemployed, academic failure, and being arrested or prison. All of these will create a mindset of hopelessness that will eventually lead to pessimism and despair.
Good day. The concept of us and them is deeply ingrained in the human psyche. It's what allowed our ancestors to survive in the past, back when they still lived in caves, villages, attacked by wolves. It's also what causes us to have issues today such as xenophobia, racism. Even with all the wonders of technology that we have, issues like this are still rampant. It's simply illogical if you think about it. If you believe in God, how can we justify hatred against others? If you believe in justice and freedom, how can you justify discrimination against innocents? One of the main causes of racism today is due to the lack of social awareness and exposure to other races during a young age. This fosters the idea that they are them and we are us. So their culture is strange, their behavior is weird, and whenever a member of their race commits something wrong, it's not the person's fault, but it's the nature of their entire so-called race. We must remember that such ideas of racism are perpetrated by certain individuals and organizations for their own benefit. In the past, Westerners used racism to justify the slave trade, stating that the slaves are of an inferior race. For the past 60 years in Malaysia, the former ruling coalition Barisan Nasional has used race politics, gerrymandering to keep themselves in power. It's the media, it's the government. We are being played like sheep. What was originally a hint of suspicion, they turn into outright hostility, as if there is something that black people have in common that white people do not. To think that another race of people are somehow inferior compared to us. To think that there is an inherent difference between us and them. To think that there is still such a thing as us against them. Now that is backwards thinking. My name is Lau Han Yang, signing off.
I'm not racist.
Hi guys, my name is Yi Ki. Today I am going to share with you about the ways to overcome suicide.
First and foremost, you should remember that you are in control of your thoughts. You have the power to damage depression and stress. For example, you can do meditations. Furthermore, you should take a deep breath while you feel stress and depression. This is because breathing is a valuable tool when it comes to handling anxiety and depression. Furthermore, be kind to yourself and love yourself. This is because every day carve out some time for you to do things that brings you joy will reduce the stress of yourself. For example, you can read a journal, read storybooks, or play a musical instruments. You should find a therapist or counselor to talk with. This is because they have experience in this field. They can give you a lot of suggestions and good ideas to handle suicide. In addition, the victim should share their feelings to someone who they trust. For example, their families or their best friend. This is because they can help the victims to solve their problems. As a listener, they should try to understand their feelings and stand at their perspective to think. Moreover, children should be educated at a young age. Children should have this knowledge of handle stress and overcome thought of suicide since young. Lastly, there are a lot of people who love you and care about you. For example, your families and your friends. Don't try to kill yourself or hurt yourself. Don't let them sad. Remember, you are not alone.
Hi, I'm Gideon. Today, I would like to share about the ways to solve racism. First, keep an open mind. Accept others, even if they don't accept you. You do not need to become colorblind. You can appreciate other races and cultures for the things that make them unique. Embrace uniqueness wherever you encounter it. Second, educate yourself and stay informed. Consider that racist stereotypes are largely rooted in ignorance. Confront ignorance with truth. Try to keep an open mind and step outside of your shell. Learn as much as you can about other races, languages, and cultures. Remember, knowledge is power. So, read the news and not just from a single source. Absorb as many perspectives as possible. Carefully consider that bias behind each source. Don't hold it in. Share what you learn with your friends, family, and larger community. Learn to teach and teach to learn. Third, be careful about what and how you post on the internet. Your social media presence may be much more public than you realize. Consider the dangers of provoking the ire of anonymous strangers. Thank you.
Oh, we have reached conclusion? Let me briefly restate these main points that we just talked about. Starting with suicide. The key to end suicide once and for all is we should take control of our thinking before it goes out of control. Do you know, every 40 seconds, a life ends with a suicide. We have the power to overcome our negative thoughts, and the best solution is through meditation and love yourself. Life is precious, remember that. Undeniably, racism is still a serious issue that we are facing today. Racism is an irrational belief in the superiority of a given group, nation, or people. Fortunately, it has declined currently, but it is still an important factor we all should talk about. Before we proceed to our interview videos, we would like to say thank you for watching!
Racism is usually discrimination
because of their skin color.
They differentiate people with their skin color and their culture.
Well, it's about people judging other races and they feel as if certain races don't qualify for certain stuff, but they do, stuff like that.
Racism is something that is bad, not necessary.
discriminate maybe based on their skin tone, their culture.
It just causes more chaos in the world and more conflicts between people.
Even though you haven't experienced it yourself, but you have a perception that these people are kind of like doing this, or these people are something like that.
It really depends on their culture.
You cannot accept your culture.
People are comfortable with their own race and their culture.
Are not used to being exposed to other culture.
They think
their culture are better than the other culture. They just can't accept.
They think that it's weird or they think that it's unusual.
Children are brought up in a way that think that maybe this race is bad and this race is good.
How do you feel when you hear people say Cina balik Cina?
It's just like saying the same thing. Ask those so-called Malay go back to Indonesia, which Malays originate from. So that's the thing. You can ask them go back to Indonesia also. I would like to ask how they feel if they heard this statement.
I'm just giving an example. For Indians, we can't eat beef, but for Malays, they feel like it's fine eating beef. So they just can't accept that we can't eat beef. So they feel like it's a bit a bit stupid. So that's why racism happens.
It starts from earlier education.
The culture they can teach the students when they are very young.
Love one another without boundaries.
Parents and grown-up people should teach their kids the topic of racism.
The government should implement some of the courses like in their education system.
Similar, and there is no difference among ourselves because we are all.
We are all the same. It's just that we are separated. We think to different God and all. That's all. But other than that, we are all the same.
The speech of freedom should be given.
There should be law enforcement, they should be very strong. I feel like there should be more of cultural events whereby other people learn to see the culture of another race.
Advertisement on how to stop this issue from happening and
stop showing people like this is a different race. It means racism will just fade away with time.
In your opinion, what is suicide?
Suicide is
loss of will to live on.
they, no matter how rich or how happy they seem, but they still
decide to take their lives.
Why do they commit suicide in the first place?
Because of depression,
stress
from working and also their family.
Depression.
Stress comes from their parents.
Pressure.
Either the stress from the peers or the stress from their environment, work environment, or their families. Yeah, so the suicide rate is going up.
Peer pressure.
Pressure.
So they feel like, exactly, they cannot fit in.
Low self-esteem.
Pressure.
That person doesn't have an outlet to express.
There's so much of competition in this current era. Everyone is competing for a job, everyone is competing for so many things that they end up not achieving their goals and going into depression and making suicide.
So
no one understands what they're trying to say or what they're trying to feel.
Like nobody is taking their side and nobody is understanding them.
Pressure.
When they don't have that outlet or somewhere to express their feelings, they are bottling it up inside.
They feel like all their doors are shut.
And students, their result, because they are not getting good result and they're afraid to disappoint their parents, their lecturers, their friends, their schools.
They blame themselves, they can't accept their failure.
So when they come to that kind of conclusion, so what's the point of living the life that they are?
Pressure.
And how do you think we'll solve this problem?
There are people who can help them if they open up to somebody.
They can go for counseling, valuable advice from the family.
There are NGOs who do consultation. You can go meet them, or the best, you can go talk to your parents or your friends.
Government should provide free counseling sessions.
And this issue can be solved by education, so the children they can know to carry each other from young, so that they don't have happen the suicide in the world.
We should be a bit more alert about the people who are having trouble.
Try to counsel them.
What are they going through or what they're trying to convey? Because normally people just shut them off.
Let them know that they're not alone. Educate the people around them to know that people do face depression, people do face problems, and don't just critique them by the surface.
So they must take action to help them out.
Yes.
That can actually make a big difference.
I guess we can spread awareness.
Yeah, exactly. We can actually create awareness of stress so that we let people know that you are not the one who are getting this stress. Everyone of us gets stressed. But how to strike the balance between stress and work? In Malaysia, there's a lot of food so that we can comfort with ourselves with food. And yeah.
Right. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
给我答案，那我直接讲。
Yeah.
pressure.
Ohio, Tokyo, konnichiwa, sumimasen, I foreigner. I don't speak Japanese, but I love Aoi Soda. When you